Time's up. Admiral.
Here it comes.
Fade in.
When it comes to fans, it is a fan's right to have whatever opinion they want to have.
Oh my God, you're not gonna let me tell the story of cutting my penis off?
Look, I got no problem with the idea of punching me in the face with nostalgia penis. I get that. I understand this.
But I'm so apathetic to Star Wars that this episode could have featured Yoda riding on a dildo being wielded by R2-D2, and I would have the same reaction.
What a waste of my jerk off. How dare you not finish? How dare you?
Jurassic Park didn't eat more out of Lilo's pie.
Oh,
fuck.
And his answer is, I get to jerk myself off. Yes, Lord. And everybody is going to sit there and watch, and no one's going to stop me. Matter of fact, you there, GQ, hand me some lube.
I'm still jerking off in front of my console.
And you think that anybody that says something otherwise is the racist? You crack-filled, heroin-smoking, porch monkey, white smoke, chocolate-eating moron. You're the racist.
I do not know if I am a girl anymore. I think I'm a they, them. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're here to bang women.
Yo, you let the joint hit the back of your throat. Have you no shame?
Don't cry for me, Argentina!
They already greenlit you to do whatever you want. They've already backed up the Brinks truck and got gold bars and naked hoes. What do we care?
I use it. It's great. It's great. It's fantastic. You have to understand the glory of a good back scratcher. I don't know. I didn't know what I was missing all these years. It's fantastic. I'm tired of hurting my left arm to try and reach around. Box office.
You're doing it to yourself. I am not responsible for the degeneracy of this stream.
Please, sir, can I have some darkies?
Great Scott. And I remember I'm lying there and I'm crying hell because I feel it right here and it's got its like pincer jaws and I'm holding it like this, trying to fight it. And I'm going, help me. And my team doesn't hear me. And then someone else actually woke me up because I was actually going, help me. And I woke up and my hands were like this with the pincers trying to get in there. And that was it.
Okay, Adam. I have one question only.
Yes.
Do you have 1987 grade crack at your home?
Before you go, one question.
Yes?
Where in the galaxy is Sanusi?
Show us your tits and I'll tell you.
Yeah, I want to see movies!
I think I've died and gone straight to honker heaven. Boobs are amazing.
And these tool bags wouldn't know quality if it walked up and motorboated them. Because, you're going to motorboat quality.
Wait, what?
Quality boobs. You want to motorboat quality boobs.
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
I love it. I'm so proud of myself. Hail and howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Round Table, episode 196. 204 weeks. 200. I'm looking forward to it because I have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to be a nice round number. Anyway, welcome, everybody. Hail and howdy to the chat. We're glad you guys are joining us this afternoon on this lovely Sunday, October 26th, where I'm mostly feeling better. I'm not sick anymore. But I know Jed's sick of me, aren't you? It's your transition. Go.
These are just getting worse and worse.
I tried.
No, I'm not sick of you. I've been around for 100 of these episodes or more. So
Yeah.
if it hasn't happened yet, it's not going to happen. I'm afraid you're
Yeah.
stuck with me. The Ginger and the Jew is
Damn.
your new reality, and unfortunately mine as well. But it's great to be here. We have a lot of things to discuss, and unfortunately this week will not be that great though, because Witcher Season 4 is coming out, and I don't know if I can endure it. I'm making possibly a mistake in that I'm going to be reading the book the season is supposedly based on this week in preparation for it.
It's only going to make you angrier.
That's what I mean. Like, the book itself I'm going to enjoy, but then when I actually watch the show, it's going to make watching it even worse. So it might be a mistake, but I'll be able to accurately tell you everything they did wrong. So it's better for the audience, worse for me, I guess.
Yeah, it's okay. You'll live.
And it's like my favorite book too. So.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Either this one or the last one, the last chronologically.
Anyway, Dre won't have to suffer that, will you, Dre?
Absolutely not. I may hate myself, but I don't hate myself that much. Good grief. But yeah, it's been a pretty good week. I finally got some time to actually dive into Pokemon ZA for a while. So that was fun to actually. Granted, I got to play it 3 a.m., but that's beside the point. I actually got to play and actually dive into some things, so I had some fun doing that. Yeah. It's been a pretty solid week thus far. I mean, thus far it's the end. All these days just run together for me. Okay.
Listen, it's the no sleep. It's the no sleep.
You have no concept of time as a father.
I have no concept of time. For the last 4 months, I've had no concept of time. Today, you could have told me today was Wednesday, and I would have believed you. I have no idea what today is. But yeah, so pretty good. I enjoy it. I'm enjoying myself. I'm waiting for the official numbers to come out. I'm waiting for those official numbers.
Oh, for
when
what?
Those numbers come up for Pokemon ZA.
We have numbers. We have numbers today.
Perfect.
We've got sales numbers.
Absolutely.
We're going to start with that. We've got sales numbers, and they're good.
Perfect.
Good numbers.
Oh, without question.
Yeah,
without question.
Yeah.
It's not Ghost of Yote situation where it's just random people saying.
Put a pin in that. Getting ahead of us. Hi, Dragon Lady. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I sympathize with getting the days of the week all muddled up because I actually woke up this morning thinking it was Monday and not Sunday, and I got completely confused. It's like, no, it is Sunday, not Monday. So, yeah, I got confused.
Well, it happens to the best of us.
And the worst, like me.
Anyway, hail and howdy to the chat. Hail to the mods, Legatus, Algerman, Ruben X, here to do their rightful goodly duty. Hail, Killer, how are you? Hello, good sir, Blackpilled Simone. Welcome. I know you from Ballbusters. And Frank, how you doing, Frank? Hail, Arctic Warriors, and hello, Weasel. Weasel, did you go to bed? You're still up when I left Discord last night. Did you go to bed? Please tell me you went to bed. Anyway, hail, howdy, anybody who is not watching and chatting, we are happy to have you with us on the Sunday afternoon. Please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Links below. Let's get started. We have got I think we got a really good one today. It's one of those weeks where I wasn't sure what our topics were going to be, but then events evolved on us. The week started with we should apologize to Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh God, no!
And then it grew into Bob Iger is a supervillain that didn't allow us a Ben Solo movie, and Kathleen Kennedy fought for it, and we should praise her.
Oh God! Yeah, that would have fixed everything.
Yeah, it would have fixed it all. So we got that. That's what the title is: Dysfunctional Disney Star Wars and its stand-based fan base lives in a constant delusional fantasy. You're not gonna believe the stuff we're going to show that. Then we kind of saw this one coming because we've talked about this for a good while, probably into last year. The end of Xbox, done, cooked, over. Dre made it a point when we talked about the Game Pass stuff. They just want to make games. And here we are yesterday or the day before. It was either Friday or Thursday or Friday, excuse me, where it happened. The Master Chief now calls Sony home. Now, a lot of people were shocked. I can honestly say I was not shocked. I wasn't shocked. I saw this coming a long time ago, as I think you guys did too. So the Nouveau console wars, the second round, is officially over, according to some people. And I never called the console war, but for the sake of conversation, it is over. Sony won because Nintendo isn't participating. So Sony won. And we'll have that conversation as well. But first, let's talk about it. I teased it a second ago. Make sure I have the right thing. We did have Pokemon sales numbers right away this week. Just boom, as like 3 or 4 days ago, we had it officially. This was the first amount. The Japanese sales, 872,000 on the Switch, 612,000 on the Switch 2, for a total of physical units. Just the physical units in Japan. It was a 1.4 million launch. That was the first bit of news we got. And right away, for its launch thing, only talking about physical units, I immediately compared it to the fake boast of Yote's 120K first week launch, #1 in Japan. And remember what I said, no competition. Imagine if they had launched in this window, what that would have looked like compared to a Pokemon release. Jed, you're smiling because you know.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers are already pretty bad for Japan. A few 100,000 isn't great, but it would have disappeared entirely.
Yeah. And then we got the official full week release numbers worldwide. 5.8 million worldwide. Comparable to Arceus is 6.5, Sword and Shield at 4 million, and some want to compare it to Scarlet Violet, but that's mainline. That's apples and oranges. That the mainline first week was 10 million mainline. So here's the Pokemon launch. Last week we spent a whole half the show where Dre, Beardo, and Dermy and Jed all talked about it, gave their thoughts, and in general, not hated, just certain dissatisfaction with certain parts on the con side. But Beardo and Dermy loved it, and I believe they've both since beaten it at this point. The main game, they're on to post game. I watched Dermy's sort of stream last night, finishing it. He had internet problems, didn't really see the whole thing. I was also curled up in bed moaning, but that's a different story. I wasn't feeling well. Dermy, his own words, the ending fight, kind of a meh fight, wasn't really that challenging, but overall, he has enjoyed his experience, as has Beardo. But this is a success, hands down a success. And when you take out the people, as Dermy has described it, the pirated copy people who played the pirated version still filled with bugs and stuff, the general consensus is acceptable to good. Not great, but acceptable to good. Not too much hate from legitimate reviews and legitimate breakdowns. We had a legitimate discussion last week where we all found a nice little median on that. So how do we feel about these numbers?
They're fantastic. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Drake, it's budget $13 million.
Yeah, 13. You beat me to that daggone punch. Darn it, Adam. $13 million was the budget for this game, which, for those of the uninitiated, that is the equivalent. Wait, do people know what that is? For those that know what Payless Shoes was,
I know.
Okay, that's what the equivalent is. Going to Payless Shoes and buying some FUBUs for $8. All right, that is the equivalent of what that is in the gaming industry. Yeah. This game costs nothing to make, less than nothing. Yeah, and 5.8 million. Even if you're doing round numbers, if you just say if it's for $60, because the Switch one, I think it's $60. Switch 2, I think it's 70. Whichever way you want to do it, this game has made money,
pure profit,
over undisputed profit, which is to be expected. All these Pokemon games sell like freaking hotcakes.
They know their customers.
100%. And like the Nintendo, it doesn't have to be the Nintendo loyalist. If you've been a Pokemon fan, you end up getting your hands on this. It was funny. I was playing last night, and like all my Switch friends, every single one of them were playing this game. So it's like it's not even a matter of will it make money, it's how much money this joint is going to make. So yeah, 5.8 million units sold. It's no surprise to me. Now I know like Arceus sold more, whatever the case may be in the first week. It don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't matter. These joints are printing money. I know somebody. I saw a couple of people trying to use this as like, oh yeah, it's not as good. Well, it's not as good as Arceus, and that's reality. But at the same time, 5.8 million units sold in the first week for one system.
Mhm.
That's not across PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. No, Switch.
Yeah,
That's
Switch,
it.
Switch too, but it's still
It's Switch.
a,
Yeah.
a Switch
Well,
game that
Nintendo.
was made for the Switch that was playable on the Switch too. So.
Exactly. Game is exactly. So I'm like, yo, this is undisputed FU money. So, kudos to them. And as we mentioned, as we talked about last week, like the game is, it's fine. It's fun.
It's not groundbreaking. It's
not at all. Not at all. Pokemon has not been groundbreaking in a long time, and it's not gonna break mainline records. Obviously,
Yeah, never.
Well, it's a spin-off game, and it's a sequel to a spin-off game that was closer to the original. Like Arceus is way closer to a mainline Pokemon game than ZA is, mainly because of the combat system. Because at least Arceus is still turn-based, so it's familiar. And 200,000 units versus difference in a week is not all that much when you consider how much ZA diverges from the normal. I didn't love this game. I call it aggressively mid. And that's how I feel about it, but it deserves these numbers. It is trying something new, and that I think should be encouraged, if nothing else, to breathe new life into this franchise. Like, I would love to see the combat of this game ported over to Arceus, and then that's like a perfect Pokemon game for me.
That's what I said last week. Let's see what they do with the next Legends outing. They'll take what they learned from Arceus and take what they learned from Z to A, and I think the next side adventure, the next side game, spin-off game, that'll show you where they're going to go in terms of experimenting, because the main line is going to be the main line. They're not going to mess with that formula. They aren't.
You don't screw the golden goose.
No,
experiment in the spin-offs.
You experiment in the spin-offs. There's no, I'm telling you, the cities would burn if like whatever Gen 10 is, whatever it is, water and sun, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
If this junk goes to this type of format, as far as
it's not
like
going
that,
to.
they would never.
They're not that stupid. They're not stupid.
They would never. That would be a horrible move. Granted, will they still sell? Of course, but they will lose. It would never. It would not make the money that they intended for it to make under no circumstance.
Any changes to the mainline game need to be gradual, very gradual.
And,
so we might see it eventually.
Sure, and like that's why the only times anything has changed. There was Gen 3, which introduced abilities. That was a change. Then it was the gimmicks from I think Gen 5 forward with Mega Evolutions and blah 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 blah.
That's so different though.
It's different.
Open world bothered some people at Sword and Shield, right?
I did. Yeah, Sword and Shield. Yeah, Sword and Shield started open world, which I think was a really good idea. Which showed the Pokemon in the overworld. Great idea. And I think that was great. Instead of just running through tall grass all willy-nilly looking for that one Pokemon to actually find them. That was an excellent idea, and it was well done. The only thing that I think should be able to be changed within the battle system, and I mean this minutely, is to, and this is a code thing, implement all the attacks. That's the only thing I would say. Implement all the attacks, because certain games only have certain moves in them. Certain moves are removed between generations. Now, like the code for those moves are still in the game, but they're not on, and there's no animation for it. Yeah,
that's weird.
It's bizarre as sin. It's bizarre. So
I mean, I get the idea of mixing it up a little bit, but the fact that it's the code's in there.
Yep.
They did half the work.
Yeah, so the
just to not do it.
Yeah, but it's
Nintendo.
Awful.
That's blatantly Nintendo right there. That is totally Nintendo.
And like that's the only thing I would say needs to be implemented. Like, hey, yo, if this was a legendary alone ability, attack, fine, leave it only for that Pokemon to learn or whatever the case may be. But but like from Sword and Shield to Scarlet and Violet, they removed because a lot of it is ported. A lot of it is ported over because that saves a lot of money. But then they're like, hey, we don't want to make animations for whatever Zoroark's special electric attack, and we remove that Pokemon from the game, but the code for his attacks are still in. Like what are we doing? Like what are we doing? So like certain things like that, I think need to be implemented. Let everybody have all their moves. It's not like because they already have the thing about removing whatever Pokemon is going to be in because there's too many. There's just too many Pokemon to have in each generation, whatever case may be. But now, like, leave the moves in. For God's sake, leave the freaking moves in. Because I want my setups, and I like making children cry. So, like, let's and stop nerfing. Stop nerfing abilities. That's all I'm saying. Let Dauntless Shield happen every time I bring my Pokemon out. Let me stack that defense. You know what I mean? Like, let's stop playing games. But other than that, like, I think this game is fine. But as long as the main line continues to do what they're doing, they're gonna print money. They'll be backstroking and gold coin, Scrooge McDuck style. Like it's it's to be.
They made more than enough money to continue experimenting with the Legends, and I think that's what you consider success for the Legends is enough money to keep experimenting.
Yeah,
because it's never going to be like Scarlet and Violet. Those numbers are 10 million, which are just insane. All right, we need to address that many sales of units in a week for any game, even the Legends games, 5 to 6 million in a week is absolutely bananas.
It is.
Yeah,
we wouldn't expect that type of numbers from many other successful games.
That's correct.
There's only one game that's going to destroy all records forever, and that will be GTA 6.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, GTA 6. I think everybody, their grandmama, everybody's gonna have that game.
Not
that
me.
That joint's probably gonna sell, and I mean this legitimately. That joint will sell 10 million easily. 10 million.
No, I think I said on Friday, I expect 20 to 30 million that first week.
I wouldn't surprise. That wouldn't surprise me. Like no number right now will surprise me. If somebody said it's going to sell 50 million units in a week, I have no defense.
I would see that too. I'm just being conservative in my estimation.
Sure.
I'm trying to not go too far out there, but
but really, you can just throw out a number, and I would believe you. Right now.
And remember, that's only console. It's a console exclusive, which means PlayStation exclusive, because there's no more Xbox really. But we'll talk about that later. No, but it'll be on Xbox. What I'm saying though is that
I would love to see GTA 6 on Switch too, though, just to see how it would look.
You mentioned that, and my response to that on Friday was GTA 6 on that would make the Switch 2 explode. That game
just start smoking.
It would smoke. It would blow. It would literally melt in your hands or melt through the dock.
It'd be one of those where you can't have it on the actual key card or whatever. It'd have to be a game code, and I don't know if the Switch 2 has a big enough memory without an external mini SD to handle that game.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Yeah, 5 times. We just bought it 3 times. Sorry, 3 times. I saw the feet. Yeah, 3 times. That game will. I mean, 10 million is crazy. We're talking a record that will never be broken with GTA 6.
GTA 6 is an Avatar situation where it doesn't follow the normal rules. It breaks physics to exist.
But it will still hold the record. The undeniable record holder. And when it comes out on PC a year later, because they're going to take their time to optimize that for PC. They're going to have to.
Yeah.
And when that comes out, add another 50 million that first week. Just on Steam. The Steam charts for that will be ludicrous. They thought that what was that game that busted Steam a couple weeks ago that everybody was talking about? I forget now. A game busted Steam. It got so much use. I don't remember. But the Steam servers will bust with GTA 6 when that comes out.
Oh, I don't think that's debatable.
They're going to stand.
I don't think they're prepared for the server situation.
They better be building servers. They got to be building servers right now specifically for that game alone to maintain things. It's gonna it's going to be an anomaly. It's going to be something that the world is not ready to even bear witness to of the amount of sales. I think
it becomes a national holiday just because so many
people are going to take the week off. They're taking the week off. Go ahead.
Nobody going to work.
Yeah, no one's going to work. Yeah. I mean,
the government shuts down again, but just because no one showed up to work.
Here's how bad it's going to be. Everybody's going to be streaming it except me because I'm not going to play it. That's the sad thing.
I'm not going to play it, at least for a little while.
I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in that franchise.
I'm not into GTA, so
I haven't played it since Vice City. That was the last time I played a GTA.
Oh my lord, yeah, that's a while.
So I lost interest at San Andreas. I just completely lost interest.
I played the 5th one. It's fine. Like, it's just not my style of game. So if it's on sale eventually, I'll get 6. Like, I don't have anything against it. It's just I'm not going to pay $100 for it or whatever craziness.
I mean, if it's $100, doesn't matter. People are going to.
No, it doesn't matter for most people, but for me, yeah, I'm not going to spend that much. I might spend 40 or 50 on it, but that's just me. I know I'm an anomaly when it comes to gamers interested in GTA 6. But...
Oh, I'm the outlier too. And I understand that.
Same here.
Like GTA even as a sandbox, I really like coming up. Sure, I played like San Andreas, Vice City, or I played them, but it wasn't like, oh man, I gotta get GTA. I never had that type of feeling.
Yeah.
Even when that game was just top down from GTA 1, it was just like, oh, it's there, you know what I mean? But it was never a must have for me. It was never been my genre. But the 4 of us, it might not be our genre, but there's about 500 gojillion people.
Oh, we can objectively understand this.
Yeah,
we can separate ourselves.
They're absolutely going to lap it up.
Yeah.
No.
Like
if it were Red Dead 3, I would buy a PlayStation 5 finally, and I would buy that day one Red Dead 3. That would be the Rockstar game that I would act like we're predicting everyone else to act for this one. But
now,
for right now,
we go.
I don't even have a PS5 yet.
Exactly, and that, Jed, I'm glad you mentioned that, because guess if this joint, which I know it won't be, but let's just play. If this joint's a PS5 exclusive, PlayStation is going to sell so many units.
It's essentially going to be, because as we'll get to later in the back half of the show here, Xbox is done. I mean, that's not going to move units in May next year. If the release date holds for GTA 6, it's not going to. They're not going to move units for that. PS5 will move units for people to get that.
If it's exclusive, 100%, which it essentially
exclusive. Essentially at this point.
Yeah. Essentially, it is
because it's not going to be switched to PC.
Yeah. No. Oh, definitely. It's never going to.
PC is a year away, and then that'll be its own community.
Yeah,
when that happens.
Exactly. But for the time being, it's going to be exclusive. And if nobody has a PS5, and it's PS5, meaning PS5 only, no PS4 stream, whatever the case may be.
Oh, it's 5 only.
PS5. Oh, it's going to sell. Like they better start building them joints now in Japan. Start throwing PlayStations together, because they're going to sell out so quick. GameStop might be on the brink of not going out of business. All right, they can actually do that.
There's a second PS5 shortage.
Well, here, I mean, I don't want. I want to do. Oh shit, we're doing gaming. We might as well do it first. Hell, it'd be weird transition to go from that. So there will be an increase in PS5 sales because of this. There will be for a lot of reasons, specifically because Halo, it announced this week. Oops, damn it! Halo's coming to Sony. It's essentially
it's about time, for real though. Halo is dead as a franchise. How many people still care or play Infinity or whatever the last one was? So this is the only thing that they can do. There's only one little group of people who are interested in Halo who aren't playing it currently over on the PlayStation side. They're going for the smallest or the largest potential fan base left to them.
But here's
this is an act of desperation. I think it should have been on there for a while, because I'm not a big fan of exclusivity. But this is desperation in this hour.
I agree it's desperation, but I think it's a really good, smart marketing move, because this is a completely rebuilt remake of the original. It's not just a remaster of Halo 1. They've rebuilt it from the ground up with modern day engines, graphics. All the voice actors are returning, apparently. They re-recorded their lines, the original VAs, and they've added some new missions, apparently, as well. And they're fully optimizing it for co-op play, up to 4 people, up to split screen co-op if you're for stuff like that. They've made it completely friendly for current day gaming. And let's be honest, I think, and it's going to be PS5 day one, PC and Xbox, but this is what matters right here. Like Judge just said, PS5. And while I agree it's a desperate move, it's also gonna make them a shitload of money.
A lot of money. A lot of money. And this is, and like I was saying before a few weeks ago, what Xbox Studios is doing, going around buying up all these other studios and liquidating. I know a liquidation is coming. You don't collect all of the Infinity Stones and not have a gauntlet. Okay, so it's like they bought Bethesda, they own Blizzard, they're buying up all the major studios. They're going to liquidate these studios and then take all of their IPs and then start selling them everywhere. And I think this is the start. And they should start in-house. Like how have Halo on PlayStation? Xbox is about to make gajillions of dollars for this.
Yeah.
Because there are people out there that wanted to play Halo on PlayStation. It's what it is. And now the next, I think they should do Gears. Do Gears on.
They already did Gears.
PlayStation. Is Gears on PlayStation now?
Yes.
Is that it? Oh, well, good.
Yeah, Gears was there first.
Yeah, this is big moves being made. I didn't realize that this was a full remake. I thought this was just a remaster. So that does change the situation a lot because it's actually offering something new along with it. So that changes my thoughts slightly, but it's still, what other choice do they have at this point?
There's no point. Like as Adam has mentioned several times, there ain't no console war. That joint's over. Over. Now look,
GameStop says it's over.
Yeah,
GameStop.
Oh yeah, GameStop, because they're ruling the galaxy right now.
Yeah, they're the ultimate authority.
All five stores that are left in the world.
Yeah,
you're talking about. But they're right. There is no more war as it used to be. There is no, oh snap, day one, are you getting a PlayStation or an Xbox? Or let's take it back, you're getting Sega, Nintendo.
That's the real console war.
Yeah,
it's the real
that's when it mattered. Now, PlayStation has won years ago, and Nintendo is in their own category by themselves.
They don't care.
And Microsoft was never really in it. Now, granted, I still am. I'm an Xbox guy. I have it. Well, granted, my Xbox is now a glorified streaming device for children's shows, but all the same. But I was an Xbox guy. Like when I started playing Xbox, my first Xbox I had was the 360 because I went from PS2 to the 360 because I wanted to play all the Star Wars games. That's when it used to have Star Wars exclusivity, was for the Xbox. So I'm like, hey, I want to play all the Star Wars games. I'm getting an Xbox. And that's when I started keeping an Xbox 360, the ones, whatever now, Series X, whatever one I have in there. And at this point, it's a glorified YouTube, Amazon, whatever kid shows. That's all that joint is streaming now. That's it. And like I'll play a game once in a while, but the ones that are actually buying consoles out there to actually play them, they're playing PlayStation. All the hardcore Microsoft people, they're playing on PC.
Yeah, they're PC.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on out there?
But before we transition to what Dre said there, I love this meme. This is glorious. This is glorious. Are you sure, meme? Are you sure? Master Chief's like, yes. Cortana, let Kratos have his way with you.
Yes, I love to see Master Chief getting cucked. That's wonderful.
It's funny. It's just funny. It's funny. Point is this though. You mentioned this now. You mentioned Drake. You're an Xbox guy. You went from PS2, 360, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And with GameStop saying the console war is officially over, I agree with what you said. It was never a console war.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was simply where did you want to play your games?
Exactly.
And that is a perspective that I think has been lost and must be mentioned now, because here's the thing. I have been a Sony guy. Well, I've chosen Sony as my console of choice since I went from Super Nintendo to Sony, because the PS1, because I didn't go N64 because there were no games for me on the N64. Well, the way I look at it, and this is to Jed's point about exclusivity, I'm not a fan of exclusivity either. The way I look at it is, does your thing have the genre that I play? Does it have enough of a library or upcoming library of genre? For me, RPGs majorly for years. I've since diversified my playing ability to them, but point is this. Sony always had for me the RPG genre. Way more RPGs in the Xbox, which Xbox had a few, but nothing that quantified me spending money. I had an original Xbox, but I bought it used. I bought it for a few games, and I played. And then as soon as those games are available on PC, I played them on PC exclusively because they weren't bug riddled like they were on the Xbox. You know what I'm talking about. Bug riddled. Point is, though, we got to that 360 era, and I'm going to open it to you guys after I make the statement. The 360 era, where Halo ruled the yard. Halo 2, Halo 3. Those were literal watershed moments in gaming history.
Absolutely.
But was Xbox 360 really winning the console wars? Or
No.
was it just the best FPS console for that genre?
Agreed. Like, so when Xbox 360 came out, Xbox 360 was the system for first-person shooters because of, and quite frankly, tell the truth and shame the devil, one of the greatest controllers the world had ever seen. Period. The Xbox 360 controller is amazing. It fits your hand perfectly, and it's actually put in a position to actually ease your hand while playing. Outside of the PlayStation controller, DualShock analog, whatever, with your thumbs like this, your hand is not naturally formed this way. And not to mention, they stole it from Dreamcast. They stole it. They stole it from Dreamcast. I will die on that hill. They stole it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there because the original Xbox controller was an absolute piece of trash.
The Duke is a piece of shit.
Trash. But the
Yes.
Xbox 360, flawless controller, especially for first-person shooters for quick reaction times and stuff like that. So at that time, it was Call of Duty finally started, taking over the world. Halo obviously was a massive thing. Gears, everybody and their grandmama had Gears. All the if you wanted to play shooters, you played Xbox. If you wanted RPGs and or legacy games like whatever, Crash Bandicoot, whatever the case may be, is where you played on PlayStation. There was definitely a line of demarcation at the time. Now, did PlayStation outsell the Xbox? Of course they did. But there was actually a reason to buy the 360 because there were certain things that it was superior than the PlayStation when it came to gameplay, specifically for FPSs. Outside of that, there was no real exclusives outside of the shooters.
And that's my point, that there's a certain school of thought that Xbox 360 was the gamer's console because it had these blockbuster, these mega titles that everybody were enjoying. They were gigantic hits. They were redefining.
Oh, and Lost Planet. I almost forgot Lost Planet. I love
but my point is that those games were redefining a lot of gameplay and stuff like that. But when you step out of just first-person shooters and you look at Sony and Nintendo, their libraries were much more expansive. And so, I mean, and I've said this to you a lot. It's hard to say that, for me to say that Xbox was winning when you were dominating in one section, but you get out of that one section where you are king, and you are, frankly, you're fighting above your weight class in other areas.
Yeah, I am not very qualified to talk on this, but specifically because I wasn't a gamer during the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 era, so I wasn't around for all of this. But just looking at external factors, I agree with Dre. The 360 won the controller war. How many controllers that are almost 20 years old are still being resold today?
Absolutely.
No one's buying PlayStation 3 controllers for their PlayStation 5.
It's so tiny. It's a tiny controller.
Yeah, and the N64, no one's buying that controller unless it's strong nostalgia. GameCube, some people still are for Switches and whatnot, but the 360 controller won hands down. Everybody has that. I still use it. PC players still use it. That is the go-to controller for PC.
I've been trying to get a new PlayStation 2 controller because the other one got caught on my foot the other day and it practically died on me as a result. But luckily, I did have my original PlayStation 1 controller, so I used that as a substitute. So I've been looking for a PlayStation 2 controller, and around about 30 quid from what I've been seeing. So £30 from what I've been seeing, which isn't too bad, really. And I think they're not secondhand, to the best of my knowledge. So,
my point is there was absolute ingenuity and innovation going on during that era from the Xbox side of things that have endured. But the problem is the FPS players are so loud and dominate the public-facing sphere of gamers that they're the people who everyone listens to. So their games were better on the 360. And so everyone thinks about the 360 because they're the ones who are loudest and loudest about the nostalgia as well. Anyone who's been to a Geeks and Gamers stream that I'm on when we're talking about stuff like this can see that a lot of those guys are FPS players. And so they remember that era very fondly for the Xbox because they were FPS players. And they're so loud about it that it dominates anyone with a different opinion. Like with Adam saying, if you wanted RPGs, you went to PlayStation. In that era, based on what I can see, I would have been a PlayStation guy because I care more about the RPGs. The Uncharted's would have definitely appealed to me during that era and whatnot. But we've got a skewed sense of success when it comes to this era because of the FPS players, because they're so loud and dominating. You just have to look at the units sold to really get into a little bit more objective truth. And PlayStation has the units sold as far as I'm aware for that era. So Xbox never really was a real winner or real contender for the top console. It just had a very loud and dedicated fan base who were supporting great games for that era. Like you were saying, reinventing things, not to knock anything from this era, from the Xbox side of things, but there's when it comes to the emotions of the situation, the memory is entirely screwed and skewed in the 360's favor.
Yeah, and we're not taking anything away from the success. I just my like Jed just perfectly said, there's more to just that one thing. There's more to just that. And I think the conversations always get lost, and people think just because Halo ruled the yard, Halo 3 specifically during the 360, that meant the 360 was the biggest kid on the block. But you step away from that, and every other thing that you get on the 360 was cross-platform that was big. Every sports game, every I guess certain side-scroller titles, you could find them anywhere. And then Nintendo did their own thing. The Wii, they did their own thing, and then
after they beat Sega, they were good. They were
Well, they won.
We got the title. We're good.
Yeah,
they didn't have anything to prove.
Yeah, and even and take for a moment there when they did the Wii, Nintendo still affected the overall industry because then Microsoft and Sony scrambled to try and do motion controls too and failed miserably.
God, what was that?
Failed miserably.
Oh, what was Microsoft's? Oh my God, Kinect. Was that what they called it? Microsoft Kinect?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. I got a quick story. I got a quick story about that joint. All right. So the Microsoft Kinect, when that joint came out, is when we still had the dancing craze. You know, like you know, all that crazy
DDR, all
Just
that crap.
Dance.
Yes, just that.
Yeah,
just
I'm
that.
guilty.
Yeah. So I was seeing this girl, right? And I said, hey, yo, I'm gonna get this girl over the crib, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna go get this Kinect. So I went and bought this Kinect, right? Got it, Jones set up. I've got the Jones set up. All this stuff. And I got this game. I think it was called whatever, Dance Your Mama, whatever it is. I put that Joan in.
Dance Your Mama.
Yeah, whatever the Xbox version of Just Dance was, and it like scans your body, and then you dance to the Joan. Like so I was like, I said, hey girl, come over to Joan and check your Joan out. So we were dancing to Katy Perry. I think just came out.
Oh
I think
Lord,
Katy Perry just came out. And it was what was that? I
wouldn't know.
Whatever.
I wouldn't know.
Whatever that song was. So we danced that joint together. One of my homies was over, right? Filmed me.
Oh no!
While we were doing the dance, and I'm sitting there, I'm all like, I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what are you doing? He said, this is my blackmail. For the next 40 years, this is gonna be my blackmail for 40 years. But after that, I barely even used that piece of crap, except I think it was like Fruit Ninja. If you remember Fruit Ninja to cut the fruit, like when phones first came out, like the Kinect was a piece of trash, but at least they tried to do something fun. But there was no way that the joint was gonna stick around. That gimmick is for Nintendo.
Was it not Kinect Star Wars?
No, see, there was a Kinect Star Wars, but it was buggy. It didn't work.
None of it worked.
None of
Sony
worked.
I mean, Nintendo, they had the license on that thing, and they were going to share their intellectual property algorithm crap of that. So Xbox or Microsoft and Sony tried their shit, and it didn't work, and it failed miserably. And here's the thing, Nintendo's Wii success, it was for quirky family shit for the most part.
Which is an entirely different target audience than FPS players.
Yeah, or the Mario Party stuff and all that crap. And listen, what we got out of that was the glorious the Wii Chuck damage that people did. Their compilation videos of
because no one used the
Wiimote did.
wrist straps.
The Wiimote was a terror.
That joint, and I hate that controller.
Yeah,
more than anything else. That
really,
as far as the Wii is concerned, I personally didn't like the Wii very much because I like controllers the way Jesus intended. You know what I mean? So it's like anything that's a gimmick, I hate it. I just hated it. But man, that joint sold units. That joint sold units because everybody was like, "Hey, this is safe for my kids. This is safe for my kids to kick back and play without." At the time, there's blood and gore and naked hoes and whatever case may be. So it's like, hey, Wii doesn't have that. We can just have friends over and we'll.
It was the console for non-gamers.
Yeah,
100%.
Normie console.
Yeah, it was a great way to get normies into the gaming sphere because there were real legitimate games that ended up on the Wii as well. Unlike you, I have a lot of nostalgia for the Wii remote, so I still love playing it. And I didn't have a problem for Skyward Sword. A lot of people hated that game because of how it incorporated the motion controls. It worked for me. I realize I'm an outlier in that one, but yeah, that it's a completely different target audience, and that's why Nintendo, I think, has been winning in their own category for so long after they beat Sega, because they realized there's an untapped normie audience that will always be loyal to them as long as they make things easy and accessible to these types of players who aren't into the FPS games, that aren't into the high fidelity graphics, who aren't into things that a lot of hardcore gamers are. So they dominated the normie sphere. That's why they don't even belong in the console war conversation anymore.
Perfectly put. Because now there is a retarded. I think it was either a former Xbox or former Sony executive said this week, Nintendo, you need to now stop the antiquated exclusivity as well. Nintendo probably just went, we just made a shitload of money on Z to A.
Yeah,
fuck off. Because
they literally don't have to.
They don't have to.
They don't have to. Now I would love for. Look, do you know how badly I would want Pokemon on PC? Do you know how badly
the mods?
Yes, the graphical mods, all the mods.
The unspeakable things that I would be doing on PC for Pokemon would be I'd have to get another apartment and live there on the side, because no way I'll be allowed in my house. I'll have to go over there and play it all the time.
Pokemon becomes your mistress. You keep it in a separate apartment.
Pokemon will be my side piece over there down the road. I got no choice. Is there an untapped market there? Of course, but
definitely,
Nintendo
but only for
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Yeah, only for Pokemon. Nothing else.
Here's the thing. Nintendo is the king of exclusivity because 90% of the Nintendo base, they're there for the exclusive games. Mario, Zelda, Metroid, all those things, and all the spin-offs, sports games, this and that, Smash Bros, all that stuff. They're there for that. And they don't want the third-party stuff. They don't.
It's true.
The only thing that would, and if Mario appeared on any other console, I don't think it would move the way it moves on Nintendo.
No, I don't think so.
I don't.
Either.
Zelda,
but
maybe.
I think, but
Mario.
let's just take PlayStation and Xbox out for the sake of simplicity. If they started dropping, let's say Pokemon out of it. Let's say Metroid. Okay, let's say start dropping new Metroid games going to be on PC just to test the waters. I think it would still sell pretty well. Now, in my personal opinion, Metroid is a C-list game for Nintendo. In my personal opinion,
especially
I believe
these days.
Yeah, especially now. Like back in the day, good lord, did I love me some Metroid. Heck, even the GameCube era, Metroid Prime, that game is tremendous. But modern day gaming has left Metroid behind. That's the reality. So I think if you drop your lesser Donkey Kong 2, Donkey Kong ain't no gangbuster either. If you drop your lesser on Nintendo to see how much, how much traction you would get for your lesser gaming, and then let's just say, and let's just drop the hammer. Let's say it goes well, and you put freaking Smash Bros on PC. The naked women that would be just dropping out of the sky would be incomparable. You get the PC community, freaking Smash Bros. Billions.
I could see that.
Billions
I
of
think
dollars are going to be made.
the
And
moneymakers,
cross-platform,
the cross-platform
servers.
moneymakers would
you
be
imagine?
Pokemon and Smash Bros.
Yes.
Those are the ones that are I believe more so for Pokemon. I think massively untapped market for a
Absolutely.
game like that. But
Absolutely.
bottom line is though, they're not going to do it.
No.
Because
they don't need to.
Because
Yeah,
they don't need to. And that's the thing. Like there's no like I said, let's just play.
No incentive.
No, is none whatsoever. The only way this could have happened is if it happens, 25, 30 years ago, if they had ended up losing the console war to Sega. If they lost the console war to Sega all those years ago, then maybe at this point, they would be where Microsoft is now, being like, hey, maybe we should put Pokemon on other things so we can make FU money. But they won that war. Then they pretty much removed themselves from the FPS war when they just had the Wii and all the children were dancing and playing Wii bowling. They've won. There's no they're like the old vet that won multiple Super Bowl championships and now is retired and is living off the lore of what they did before. That's what they are now. And then people are still coming to buy.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to compete because no one can compete with me. So they have no reason to put. I'd love it if they do it, but they literally have no reason to do it at all.
No,
granted,
because
I loved it, but it wouldn't.
The built-in base will buy it no matter what.
No matter what.
Do you think
which is a different problem? Which is a different problem, but all the same, they know that that's going to happen.
Go ahead, Jed.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. But do you think if they hadn't recovered as well from the Wii U, that might have become a possibility as well? Because the big turning point was, like you said, winning the console war against Sega. But I'd say the only other potential point where massive change could have happened with Nintendo was the Wii U's failure, because that was terrible.
Oh yeah, that was a
They
disaster.
recovered well with the Switch. They figured out and they found their money.
Well, what they did was this, because I knew somebody who worked for Nintendo localization in California during that period of time, and she said, and I asked her, why do they keep doing handheld stuff? Because me not being a handheld gamer, we've mentioned that. I mentioned that many times. I prefer all this. I said, why do they keep doing this? Because I'm not interested as long as it's handheld, even though I bought a couple just so I could get copies of Final Fantasy IV, but that's my own obsession. Point is this. She said to me, that shit is the cheapest stuff in the world to make. Handheld, the Game Boy era, the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, 3DS, that whole era, Nintendo spent so much time on that when they owned that era. That was their era, the handheld gaming. It was an inexpensive thing to do, and they made tons of money.
Yeah.
Oh, another 3DS, I'll buy it. Another DS, I'll buy it. People just kept buying it. They kept buying the games. And then, to Jed's point, with the failure of the Wii U, my belief, this is just how I look at it from a historical perspective. They said, okay, let's take what we were really good at, the handheld stuff, and make something that is essentially handheld. Oh, but we'll throw it in the dock, and you can play it on your TV too.
It's brilliant.
The Switch was born, and here we are now. Go
Oh,
ahead.
it's one of the greatest ideas in gaming in the last 30 years.
I agree.
But when it comes to handheld stuff, people are willing to trade convenience for graphics. So for a lot of people are willing to let those Game Boy games, they're not anywhere near as beautiful as some of the games on the 360 or even the Wii at that point because of the graphical limitations of a handheld console. And that's still true.
Absolutely.
The Switch 2 is far and away behind the PS5 and the Xbox. But
It's a PS4.
Because of the convenience factor, people are willing to forgive that. And I think that's partially why it's so cheap to make, because they're capitalizing off of that willingness, that trade for convenience. And yeah, if they hadn't gone the route with the Switch, things could have gone a lot differently with Nintendo. If they tried to make the Wii 3 or something like that, we'd be in a very different gaming sphere right now. But I think failure pushes innovation. And I believe that's part of what we saw with the Switch, is they saw the Wii U fail, so they had to innovate. And that's why I'm personally disappointed that the Switch 2 was as successful as. Of course, we predicted it. Of course, we all knew it was going to be successful. But I hoped it would have failed. So whatever their next console, or at least be not as big as they'd hoped it would be. So the next console, they could try something new, they could innovate again, and they could try to recreate the magic of the Switch 1, where they offered something unique and different. Because right now, the Switch offers me nothing that I want. It is in no way better to me than the Switch 1. So what's the point? They're not innovating.
No point.
Now,
Absolutely no point.
You bring up my next question then, or at least there's what I believe, and I want you guys to see whether or not you think I'm right in my thinking line. We'll know we'll know Nintendo's thought process in about 6 to 8 years, because that's what I think it'll be when they go with their next endeavor. Because now we bring back to this whole thing now, the whole point of this conversation. Halo on the Sony PlayStation, on the PlayStation 5 going forward, because they will now remaster or remake, not remaster, excuse me, they will remake every single mainline Halo game, probably even ODST. They'll remake it all for the PlayStation 5, nice, brand spanking new, and make.
Well, you always know a franchise is struggling when all they have is nostalgia. If remaking a game is the only thing they have,
but
that's
this
not
is going to
a great
make.
sign.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But that just means no one cares about the future.
But if they remake it, do you think they will steer away from the later franchise installments and go in a new direction with the story?
I'm going to
if
say
it finds
no.
success on this PlayStation.
I think in my personal
post Halo
opinion,
3,
post Halo 3, and let's say post what was it? Infinite was the last one for Xbox One, if memory serves me correct. I think I bought it too. Whatever. So I think the Halo story is over, in my personal opinion. And yes, will it find new life on PlayStation? 110%. They're gonna make gajillions of dollars for a remake, which is actually a different version of the remaster that they did for the Master Chief Collection. So they're spending nothing.
Yeah.
They're spending nothing in order to make this game. So they're gonna make boatloads of monies and monies. And I think Microsoft Studios in particular, they have no reason to create. They have no reason to create.
What was the last what they need?
Yeah. When was the last Microsoft exclusive that had everybody lining up? Well, nobody does anymore, but figuratively lining up at the door to go and buy it.
There isn't.
None.
So
zero over the last decade. It's over.
Brings back to the point though. With this now happening with Halo, and it's another conversation what they'll do with Halo post game, because I shouldn't have said that. That's getting us down a conversation I didn't want to have. My fault. What I mean though is this essentially means the Xbox is done. They've said they'll make one more, and I still have my doubts about that. I have my sincere doubts about making one more. The Xbox is done. Sony is it. Nintendo's on their island. Going forward, Nintendo will know how serious Nintendo is in their next console release. Or do they want to compete? Or will they, as Jed said, be complacent and rest on their laurels of the Switch 2 and make a Switch 3 and really just make, like Sony does with the PlayStation just make micro improvements from one generation to the next now. It's a little bit of a micro improvement each time. Will Nintendo now go that route? Will they just micro improve, or will they find some incentive to get creative again and innovate to something new? Or do you think they will just do it? Because now that the field is set, there will be nobody's going to make a new console. You've got Sony, you've got Nintendo. You pick your thing, and then you've got PC players. And if you're like me, you drift back and forth wherever the games take you. So do you think Nintendo's going to innovate ever again to compete? Or do you think they're going to be happy, as Jed said, the old man on the porch, and gonna be like, ha ha? Or was it Drake just said that?
I'm good. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. We look the same. We got it.
Yeah. We do.
He is black. He's ginger.
Ginger black. So here's my thing. I'm going to say something reckless. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I know I'm about to say something reckless.
Okay.
The only way anything is innovative again is if there's a new player in town. Period. Let's play a ridiculous game.
Okay.
Let's say my favorite company of all time, Sega, comes back from the grave.
Oh wow.
Okay. I told you I'm saying something reckless. Okay. Sega comes back from the grave
Zombie
and releases The Dreamcast 2. First of all, will I buy it? Without question. They will take my money. I'm going to buy it, period. But let's just say it is. They buy the new Dreamcast 2 and it has everything. It has the motion capture, it has all the stuff, the brand new controller, the whole 9 yards. And now, and let's just say, because Sega has money. Let's not get twisted. Sega has money. They've just been in production for decades. They never had to put their money at any risk for years. And they're just putting their IP on different systems. They've been stacking.
And they got a share of the Sonic movies too.
Exactly. So let's just say they buy the rights for all of their Sega properties back for exclusivity. That means Nintendo can't have it no more. Sony can't have it no more. Microsoft can't have it no more. And then they bring back, and that includes, but not limited to, say, the Sonic franchise, Shinobi, all that stuff, all these joints. They no longer have access to it, and they're bringing it all back. And the only way you can play them is to play Sega. That is the only way we get innovation from the others. That's it. Is if that type of bombshell drops, like Sega's back, baby, Dreamcast 2, everybody get in line, which I will. Everybody get in line and get the Dreamcast 2. That is the only way that Nintendo gets off their butt cheeks. Sony, Xbox over, whatever. That's the only way innovation happens if there's a new player in town, because we got the same players here. They already know where their roles are.
Yeah.
Microsoft is about to transition into being a monopoly of gaming studios. Nintendo is the old retired Super Bowl champion. The only one that's still competing with themselves, I guess, is Sony. It's over. Let Sega come back from the grave and start scrambling everybody's IPs.
That would be interesting, but the problem is, though, can they make a good Sonic game again?
Now, that's a different problem. Sonic Adventure 3. Let's do that. Sonic Adventure 3. We continue from the Sonic Adventure 2, which in my personal opinion is the greatest Sonic game of all time. Continue that storyline. Print money. Everybody and their grandmama wanted a sequel to Sonic Adventure 2. Everybody did. Even when Nintendo got access to it, they made their own version of it, the Sonic Adventure 2 battle version. You know why? Because I don't print it money. Because that game was fantastic. Make a number 3. Make a number 3. Watch the panties drop. It's going to be amazing. So I think that's the only way. Or it could be somebody, but I'm just using Sega because that's just I can say on the brain. But let there be.
It would have to be Sega. You'd need brand recognition and major nostalgia to stir that pot to light it. You can't just have somebody walk in and you can't have Elon say, "I'm going to make a console," and
he calls it the X-box.
Oh god, that would be the problem, dude. He'd wanted to call it the X box, but he can't.
He called it the X something, and it would just confuse the shit out of everybody. But Drake, you're 100%. You're right. Yeah, Nintendo's not going to innovate until they're forced to, for one reason or another. Competition breeds innovation, and right now there's no competition for any of them. PlayStation, like you said, it's competing with itself, just trying to be better, and I think they are the ones at the head of the graphics game. They are making things look more and more beautiful, more and more realistic, and I think they're doing a great job with that. They're moving forward in that realm, but it's because they're competing with themselves. They don't have to compete with Nintendo for graphical fidelity, and so we need another contender in town. We need someone to kick them in the pants to make anything change. And unfortunately, it's going to have to be a big contender. I don't even know if Sega can do it, just because the Nintendo fan base is they've got so much brand loyalty that they're accepting everything no matter what. Like, they're celebrating the Switch 2 like it's revolutionary when it's just a repeat. And they're acting like Donkey Kong Bonanza is game of the year. Like you said, Donkey Kong isn't all that relevant. I mean, it was popular. Like, this was a very
30 years ago.
Yeah,
30 years ago.
Bonanza was semi-successful as far as I'm aware, but it wasn't a blowout success like they're making it out to be.
ZDA is way more successful.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's a better contender for Game of the Year. But yeah, Donkey Kong just doesn't matter. I love Donkey Kong 64. That's the only Donkey Kong game I like. And I know I'm the exception of that. That's just bananas to people. See what I did there? But these Nintendo fans, they accept everything, they will not let Nintendo fail. And as long as they have this blind brand loyalty, Nintendo has no reason to change. It has no reason to innovate. It has no reason to put their exclusives on PC because they have a fan base so rabid for them that it doesn't matter what decisions they make.
Exactly.
I think you're right. I mean, my whole question is, we'll know what they do, and I think you're right. They're not going to do anything because they don't need to.
Yep.
They have perfectly said loyalty. The brand loyalty of the Nintendo customer is just there. They'll buy it. They're there for those games. They'll show up. They'll get it every time. They'll buy the widgets. They'll buy the attachments. They'll buy all that stuff. They'll buy another version when it comes out. I mean, how many people who owned a Switch bought a Switch Lite?
I forgot all about that thing.
A lot of people did, and the OLED and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still on my original Switch, and I'm very happy with it. People are telling me, well, you should get the Switch too, because the load times for ZA will be a lot better. I've compared it side by side. It might be half a second's worth of difference for a 10-year-old console almost. Yeah. It's insane the amount of loyalty. So I think there are legitimate contenders out there to make PlayStation innovate. There's absolutely a way that a new console could come out, someone else could push something out and make PlayStation improve. I just don't see any, because of Nintendo's fan base, I don't see anyone on the planet having a possibility of making them sweat. Unless they screw it up themselves, like with the Wii U. Nintendo has to screw their own pooch to make a difference. No one else is going to make it happen.
Yeah, Atari ain't coming back, Sam.
Atari
ain't coming back. You know Atari ain't coming back.
He's still waiting for the Pong too.
Mr.
Point
Gamer.
is-
That was my mum's very first computer game that she played with at school, and she said it was the most boring ass thing she'd ever played.
To Jed's point, I think Sony will find its own ways to keep itself motivated. So because Sony's a Leviathan company. They are more than just the PlayStation. But I think because I honestly think the independent gaming sphere will keep Sony motivated. That's what I think. Because they want to keep making deals with independent people to get them on the console alongside the PC so they get a taste of it. So in order to keep up with the expanding independent AA community, they'll keep needing to make the PlayStations compatible with these things. So I think they'll do it. Now, will they overprice it? I hope not. I hope that the prices will continue to go up, because I get a console because it's cheaper than me getting a computer right now. It just is. It is. People say get a PC. A PC is still a good one. That'll play. So it's still pretty expensive, at least for my budgets. So I hope we don't see a PS6 for at least another 3 or 4 years. I really hope we don't. Even though they're saying 27, 28. No. How about let this settle for a bit? Sony owns the yard now. Just run it. Don't push another console.
Don't abuse it.
Don't abuse it. Just the PS5 has, for lack of a better term, field dominance right now. Because as we've already stated throughout this whole conversation, the Switch 2, Nintendo, that's its own. They're on an island. They're not competing. It's a different thing. So goodbye, Xbox. I won't miss you. Sony, behave yourself. Act accordingly.
They won't.
Nintendo, you have yet to tease me to buy a Switch 2. It's going to be years. There are going to be at least 4 games I want on the Switch 2 to get one, and there ain't even one right now for me personally. So
4 is a good number.
Yeah, well, that's my standard. That was what spurred me. Every time I buy a console, I haven't bought a console hot off the presses since the PS2. Ever since then, I've waited. Are there 4 to 5 games that I want on this console that I want? And that's been the model. And it's worked for me. Now, will it work forward? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's been my modus operandi, and I've stuck to it. So we'll see what happens. But I think we can definitely say Halo on Sony is the game changer everybody believes it is. Whether or not you were shocked or saw it coming, that's a different story. The era of Xbox, anything is over. Like Dre has said repeatedly, they're going to make games and they're going to make money. That's what they're going to do now. Mm-hmm. They're becoming what they always were, a software company. They're not not really a hardware company. They've tried it for 20 years, and here we are, game over. And Nintendo's on their island doing shit sometimes you don't want to look at, but they're going to sell it to you anyway, and people are going to buy it. And whether they innovate or not, we'll see. But I think we all agree we kind of don't think they're going to.
They could sell the Poopsicle attachment and people would buy it. And it'd do nothing. It's just like a gimmick that you put on the back of the Switch 2. It does nothing. It serves no purpose. It would still sell enough to make a ton of money.
That's true.
Yeah, they'll do that shit. That said, I'm happy with the way my gaming life is right now. I have my PS5. I get some games on PC. If something works in the PC, it'll work on there. Great. Until I get a gaming rig, I go where the game works. Essentially, I go where the game works for me right now. That's where I go. And it works on the console because one of the things we have to all acknowledge, too, is all these games come out, they're made for consoles first and PC second.
Yep.
Some of these games.
Correct.
Some things are made for PC alone. Yeah, that's for PC. But a lot of these games, they're console first, which is why they take time to work properly on the PC with fixes, modding, all that stuff. Okay, that said, I guess that's all the gaming talk we're going to have because one led into the other. I want to do this back half because I wanted to end on a more positive note because now we're going into the shit. We're going into the shit, the muck that I wade around in, the horrible, stinky thing called Disney Star Wars. Because there's been a saga this week, and frankly, it's a little bit better than the Disney Star Wars saga because we can actually laugh and enjoy ourselves with this as opposed to what Disney Star Wars has given us. So for some reason, at the beginning of the week, there started a trend, mostly started by this particular post right here, which some will call engagement bait. Yeah, I took the bait. I made a video on it. I reacted to it. But we heard this right here. She deserves an apology.
No, she doesn't.
No.
Well said, Dragon Lady. Well said.
Yep, that's the whole conversation that needs to happen.
I went on for a bit longer as to why. I went through the history, but you could watch that video. We're not going to go down the list. I've done that. Point is, it started with this, and it came out of nowhere. Why suddenly does she deserve an apology? And maybe this individual heard it from someplace first. This obviously Disney stand to say, I have friends anywhere, everywhere, quoting stupid Andor with an with an MCU. Look at his banner. Hold on. Let's see his banner. You know exactly what you're dealing with here. You know exactly what you're dealing with. Dealing with an activist.
Yeah, this guy talks with the slur from the Disney cock in his mouth.
Mm-hmm. Him and many other people probably need to go to the emergency room to get their stomach pumped after this week. Point is this. Started with this.
God.
I've been sitting on that particular joke for a while. And then it happened with this. This bit of news dropped 4 days later, sorry. Steven Soderbergh reveals The Hunt for Ben Solo was the first time Lucasfilm had finished a script that got rejected by Disney. And Soderbergh and what's his name, Adam Driver, went about all the interviews saying, yeah, right after we were done with Rise of Skywalker, we worked out a story where Ben Solo lived, and it was called The Hunt for Ben Solo, and we brought it to Kathleen Kennedy, and she loved it. So did Dave Filoni and all the other Tuka-slickers that work in Disney Star Wars. They loved it. But then we went to Bob Iger and his toadies, and they said, no, we're not doing this. And that was the end of it. So now for some reason, this has come out. And it has started this insane, rejuvenated belief that Disney Star Wars characters like Kylo Ren, Ben Solo are mega popular. And that the Reylos aren't weird. That the Reylos are an actual fan base that need to be given this fresh, rotten meat. And that they can run with it in movies, because here are some of the responses. We're getting this movie made. F you, Iger. Quit being a dipshit.
While they're talking about it, I just want to say, if this story is true, that this movie was pushed very hard and Kathleen loved it, but Bob Iger said no. If all that's true, Bob Iger's the one who deserves an apology. All right? He shut this down, and that makes me believe he can make a good decision at times. Because The Rise of Skywalker was awful. They absolutely
Lost
destroyed
money.
any potential. Yeah, lost money, lost any potential for this character to be good. No one's really interested in this. Soderbergh, the main movies I know him from are the Ocean's 11 remakes, right?
Mhm.
What else has he done? That's
Did
just
a few other things.
It's a weird director to have in charge of a Star Wars project. Like, he doesn't do genre, as far as I'm aware. He's not known for genre, at least.
Yeah.
And like Logan Lucky's more known for he worked with Adam Driver on Logan Lucky. The more the comedy, the more thriller, the more heist-oriented stuff is what he's famous for, at least. That's a bad combination. He might be great. Yeah, Ocean's 11. I do like Ocean's 11, the remake with George Clooney. But why would you want him to make a Star Wars movie redeeming a goddamn fucking awful character?
Mm-hmm. That's the
Bob
point.
Iger was the hero that we needed.
Bob Iger was a broken clock, and he made a right decision for the 2 times he'd make one a day. And it would lose money because this is who the fan base is. Oh, this movie's getting made. See you Raylos in theaters in a few years. What delusional fantasy are we living in? That they think that now they're willing it. They've bought this is when I have it here. No, that's not it. Well, anyway, I don't think I have it up here, but they bought a billboard in Times Square. Nothing's really dying. They flew a banner over Disney in a plane. They think they're getting it, and then you have this thing right here, this mentality. They assumed the hunt for Ben Solo was aimed at a female audience, and they shut it down because they hate women and didn't want to be perceived as woke. And now they're finding out everybody loved Ben Solo.
That's just a fundamental misunderstanding of Disney. I mean, what's the movie that they've been trying to make for years that they're still saying that they're going to make? The Raylo movie.
The Ray movie.
Or, sorry, it's I can't say Ray without
it's on the tip of your tongue. It's understandable. Yeah.
But yeah, the Ray movie. If they hated women and didn't want to be seen as woke, they would have gone this route instead of the Ray movie route.
Yeah.
It's a
that as well.
complete misunderstanding of reality. These people live in their warped bubbles, and
I mean,
it's so
there is nobody loves Ben Solo because Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, is a ripoff of Jason Solo, an actual character that had over a decade's worth of character growth and storylines and arcs, where he went from an aspiring Jedi apprentice, a Padawan, to a Jedi who got broken by a war, a horrible war, got corrupted unknowingly by a Sith, and then became Darth Cadus, and had to be taken down by his twin sister, who had to be trained as a Jedi Knight to fight like a Mandalorian in order to be so out there, to come at her brother from such a blind spot of tactics that he wouldn't see coming. That's what it was. He is nothing. He is a ripoff. He's a weaker version of a better character. And in the end, Jason Solo, spoilers, excuse me, sorry for those no, Jason Solo was unrepentant. Even in the afterlife, there's a scene in later books where Luke is basically straddling the material world and the immaterial, and he has a conversation with Ben's spirit. Well, not sorry, Jason's spirit, and Jason says he goes back and forth from Jason to Cadus, and he's unrepentant. He believes what he was doing was right, whereas I had a talk with my father who was a Force ghost, which shouldn't be possible because Han Solo wasn't Force sensitive. And then I felt my mommy die, and then I decided to be good and kiss Rey to bring her back to life. And now I'm redeemed.
Wait, did they make Han Solo Force sensitive? Because if you have any skills whatsoever in Disney Star Wars, it has to be Force. Like if you're a good pilot, you have to have Force sensitivity.
With the exception of the Solo children, the twins and Anakin Solo, the Solo bloodline is resoundingly Force blind.
No, I know that's what it is in canon. I'm just saying I thought Disney had made Han a little. Sensitive.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh, okay,
they might have in the comics. Who the fuck knows? Point is, there is no love for Ben Kylo Ren Solo. There isn't. And here's how bad it gets. In the wake of this, Leslie Headland is brought out to talk about how she connected the Knights of Ren to all this stuff with the Acolyte, to all. For some reason in all of this, they call it to her, and here's what she has to say about what the Acolyte was supposed to do. The big reveal. Queermere, the stranger, eventually became the first Ren and founded the Knights of Ren. Reveals Leslie Headland the Art of the Acolyte book, which probably nobody bought. It was the design of the character, as well as knowing that we were going to introduce Darth Plagueis, who was to end up with Palpatine as his apprentice, following the rule of two, a precept that limited the Sith to just two at every given time. Gee, like we don't fucking know that, you idiot. A master and apprentice. See, that's her talking like she's teaching us something. It's so stupid. One way to keep it going, as if is it going. One way to keep it going. It is it.
Yeah, that's not you. That's
okay.
That's not good sentence structure.
Thank you. I thought I had a minor aneurysm there for stroke.
No, she was having the aneurysm.
Yeah. If the stranger is the first Knight of Ren, part of the Sith adjacent cult that we know, and we know eventually survives, and he becomes the Kylo. And see, it's all connected, everybody. It's like poetry, but it doesn't rhyme. This is how this is the delusion that out of all this, she thinks that's important. And then it gets worse. Screen rant. Guess what, guys? It could still possibly happen because remember, Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool didn't happen until his audition leaked. We're living in insanity here.
Well, the Ryan Reynolds thing was actually good, so the public just needed to find out about it. A couple Reylos spending more money than they possess between them for banners and Times Square announcements and stuff like that isn't going to affect the real world. How many people are supporting this? A couple hundred?
I don't.
Disney doesn't have money to appeal to a couple hundred people anymore. They canceled the Acolyte. They're not greenlighting this.
I don't know what the actual depth of this, but there is now the line that, as I said, Bob Iger is now the villain in all this because according to Den of Nerds, Josh from Den of Nerds, Bob Iger hated Star Wars and the George Lucas stuff, and he threw it out, and he didn't want to listen to Kathleen Kennedy. Now,
I believe the first half of that Bob Iger was part of the decision to throw away.
Oh, I believe he did that just because they didn't have to pay any sort of homage or tribute and follow any of George's rules. I believe that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't believe
Kathleen Kennedy was in on the decision to get rid of those scripts. I 100% believe that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because she talked about, unlike Marvel, we don't have any source material to base our stuff off of, so it's really hard to be as creative and stuff like that. And it was her idea as much as Bob's to decanonize the EU, to get rid of George's script, to make Star Wars her own. You can't you can blame one person without letting someone else off the hook. Both can be responsible for the same thing. It's not one or the other.
And
this is moronic.
Right. There is no hero in any of this. These are all villains. But we could read this article, but I would actually I prefer to I've got it on time and a half on 1.5 speed. Let's actually see what this cocksucker, Josh from Den of Nerds, has to say. He's going to make the case that Kathleen Kennedy is the hero here. I'm pretty sure that's his case. Let's listen to what it has to say. It's 1.5 speed. We'll tap out if we need to, but let's see what this suck up has to say.
All right, I'm just gonna say it. We're just gonna do it. No script on this, but I will explain what's going on, and we'll have a little adventure together. So, obviously, Kathleen Kennedy is the president.
Mind you, this is a shill.
Yeah, I don't know who
Disney,
he is.
This is a Disney Star Wars
look
shill.
at his background though to tell he's a shill.
This is a shill for everything. This kind of guy who didn't find a Hollywood cock he doesn't want to suck, essentially. So,
president of Lucasfilm, and as such, she has been the target of some criticism. Being the leader, I think that just comes with the territory.
No.
Yeah, the leader's responsible for the decisions her subordinates make. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, and her subordinates are Dave Filoni and a couple others who have been there for a decade. All involved. And she deserves criticism because she destroyed one of the greatest franchises, most profitable franchises of all time.
He's saying this is if it's crazy to hold the person responsible.
Yeah.
And just like a coach on a sports team that's having a losing season, a lot of scrutiny, a lot of attention, a lot of articles, the focus of narratives in journalistic circles, chatter on social media, the narratives just really focus on how bad of a job you're doing. That's the world.
All right. Question. What has she done that's good? In 15 years, what has she done that's good?
Yeah, if a coach has no winning seasons in a 15-year career, they
fired.
shouldn't be a coach.
But Jed, look how many movies she produced with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg.
She held the coffee maker.
Thank you.
That's all she did.
Yeah, her husband got her a job. It's wifely nepotism.
Yeah.
And Kathleen Kennedy being president of Lucasfilm with Star Wars doing what it is doing has been the target, I think rightfully so, of a lot of criticism. However,
yet you've still sucked its dick plenty of times.
It might be the case that she was actually the target of a lot of unfair criticism, okay? And
we owe her an apology. Here it goes.
Look, here's what happened. I'll just explain it to you all.
Now, guys, this is what his source tells him. His sources that he can't name.
And I have no agenda here other than to just tell the truth. So yesterday, a big article came out because Adam Driver revealed that he was working on a Star Wars movie called The Hunt for Ben Solo. It's a big project.
Which was the terrible title, by the way. I think that's a terrible title.
Yeah.
And so you guys can just have a little visual aid there. Big project. Soderbergh, Kathleen Kennedy, Carrie Beck,
and Dave Filoni. Don't leave out Dave Filoni. Articles mentioned he was in on that conversation too. He loved it.
Dave Filoni. Everybody's down. They take it to Disney. Disney says no. Now, Adam Driver name drops Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, and he says that Disney itself, Disney corporate, said no to this. Kathleen Kennedy said yes, wanted to do this thing. Bob Iger and Disney said no. Okay, now that's wild because that's kind of like weirdly specific. Like it's weird that like Adam would be that specific about it. Okay, but of course that brings into question. Oh my God, has this happened before? Perhaps has there maybe been other times where Bob Iger was secretly fucking shit up?
All right.
Whoa.
Secretly fucking shit up
in logic.
No. Look, I don't like the weatherman more than anybody else does. All right.
Yeah.
The idea that everybody was on board and Bob Iger said no, let's just say that's accurate for the sake of simplicity. Let's say that's accurate. Why would you then assume that he is behind the failures that have been produced? That means that he greenlit the garbage over and over and over again.
And somehow turned away good shit.
Apparently.
Yeah.
That's not how that works, sir.
Yeah.
Is this guy special needs? Because I want to cut into him, but I don't know if he's on the spectrum.
He just wants to make Bob Iger the fall guy. We don't need a fall guy. There's already tons of people to blame. Provably so.
Look, it's Kathleen Kennedy. Everybody knows it. It's not even hyperbole. Like, why did this Star Wars movie fail? It's her. She's made it perfectly clear by putting all her same cronies. What was that? Chanoy, whatever.
And self-inserting herself into half these projects, a young British brunette.
Thank you. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, bruh, it's her. Like, it's not hyperbole. It's not, we're misunderstanding. We're not like, oh, it's the Wizard of Oz pulling the strings. No, you forget that Bobby was gone. And the Chapek was there too.
Wow. Dre, hold on a second. You mean to tell me that Bob Iger was gone, but not gone? He didn't have any yes or no power. He was just kind of sitting on the board of directors at the time. But Chapek, from 21 to 24, or late 23, 24, he was CEO of Disney, not Bob Iger. And there were plenty of things announced during that period of time that didn't happen, and plenty of things that were pushed that didn't happen. But somehow Bob Iger's the final boss every time.
Because this would have been pitched to Disney during the Chapek era.
100%.
Wow,
because this was 2019 was...
Rise of Skywalker came out in December of 2019.
Perfect.
And then about a year to workshop it, during which time Chapek takes over. And by the time they get to pitching it, Chapek's in charge.
So there's a timeline problem here.
Absolutely.
There's a timeline problem here. Well,
Yeah,
let's see-
blame Bob Chapek. He was already the fall guy for all of Bob Iger's mistakes.
Yeah, well, he was put there to be the fall guy.
That's what I mean.
Heaven, yeah.
But this guy seems to think, just because there's another person responsible for bad decisions doesn't exonerate the people who have already been proved to be responsible for a bunch of bad decisions.
I love it that you just pointed out that timeline problem, that Chapek was CEO when this would have been pitched. I mean, Bob Iger was still there, but he wasn't CEO anymore. So,
and allowing Kathleen Kennedy to take the blame. And by the way, this has been a narrative that's out there. I want to be fair to people. This whole time, during my entire time on YouTube, and I've talked a lot of shit on Kathleen Kennedy. I have talked a lot of shit on Kathleen Kennedy. Go into the YouTube search bar and search "She Gone Nerd Theory" or "She Gone Kathleen Kennedy," and you will find a literal musical track with me and my friend Star Wars Theory, where we are saying that Kathleen Kennedy's going to get fired and celebrating it. Okay, I am that toxic.
Listen. I don't want to throw shade at Theory, but Theory is a fucking fence sitter. He's been a fence sitter for years.
Yeah, he always has. He's always been offensive, and I understand because he still wants access. Yeah, I understand that, and he doesn't want to hurt his brand, and I understand that.
Yeah,
but at the same time, like, who this?
I don't know.
That's my question. Yeah. Who this? Like, we understand Theory sitting on the fence. I get it. This is about money. I understand that. Who this? I've never seen this guy before.
I've heard of him. I've seen him a couple of times. And my point, and this to respond to what he's saying here, if you've talked trash about Kennedy, then how come you still have supported Disney Star Wars so much?
It's either pick one. You can't do both. Look, I hate the idea of, yes, I am anti-Disney, but I will spend my money. Like, what do you it's either you stand against it or you don't. Like, pick a side.
It's
bro.
not a la carte. It's not a la carte. I've said that for years. It's not a la carte.
YouTuber guy, man, baby, chud, dude, bro, guy. That's who I am. That's what
you've never been called that in your life, dude. No.
This man don't didn't he make a sports analogy earlier?
Yeah, he tried.
Good and well.
I mean,
good and well. You ain't playing no sports.
Here's the thing. This dude has never been once included in our sphere of conversation where we push back at any of it. He has never once been on our side of anything. Never.
I agree. I'm
never. He has never lined up. In fact, I bet if you dig into his social media, he has probably talked shit about the larger channels in our sphere. Saying, "Oh, they shouldn't talk like this. Oh, we're not associated with these types of channels." I bet he's done that. I bet he has.
What I've done, okay? So I've made a lot of content that's very negative against Kathleen Kennedy, and that entire time,
have you made content negative against Disney Star Wars? That's my question.
Always been some voices out there that'll hit me up and be like, "Actually, Josh, Kathy's great." It's actually not Kathy. It's Disney. Okay, so just want to be fair that this has actually been something that other people have spoken to. But until yesterday, until Adam Driver really put it on Front Street, I don't know how easy it was for people to really internalize that, to sit with that, to synthesize what that actually means. And so as I was sitting with this, I tweeted something yesterday. Maybe you saw it. Here, I'll pull it up for you. I tweeted something yesterday.
Why didn't you have it ready? Jesus Christ.
This guy.
Well, while he's searching for that, I looked it up. Bob Chapek became CEO almost exactly 2 months after Rise of Skywalker came out. It's unequivocal that he was in charge when this movie was pitched. If this movie was pitched the way it was posed.
So it's either all a lie, or they didn't even pitch it to him and they went to Iger, who was still in the building and didn't give up his office. Either way,
Kathleen just threw Bob Iger under the bus when they came to her.
Yeah.
Here's what I did. I said, also, if this is true, speaking of the whole situation with, Bob Iger and Adam Driver, if this is true, then Bob Iger was doing shit like this and letting Kathleen Kennedy take all the blame while saying nothing.
Once again, the history. Disney Star Wars from 2012 to now 2025 and going on for at least another year with Mando Grogu and all that shit. One failure after another. You could say all you want, nostalgia packed, Force Awakens, all that stuff. Ever since then, once people, had the shit wiped off their eyes and saw it for what it was, it's been nothing but failure. Disney Star Wars never made money. There's been no successes. So you then have to say that Bob Iger has to be blamed for everything. You're saying this type of discussion, this type of wording, as I see it, is trying to absolve Kathleen Kennedy of all of Disney Star Wars' failures. Is that what that feeling I'm getting? That's the feeling I'm getting from this.
Nothing. And so I was thinking this, and then I said this. I said, I'm about to get this tea on this motherfucker Bob Iger. If anyone else wants to hit me up with any info, DMs are open. And I got hit up with a bunch of DMs. But here's what's really important. Here's what's really important for you to know. And at the end of the day, like, people are gonna have different feelings and opinions about what I'm about to say. Some of you might think it's fake, and it is worth noting that it comes from a source. It's not.
I think it's fake. I haven't heard what he has to say yet. I think it's fake. I think this guy gets things and will probably embellish it. That's what I think.
I tend to not believe insider stuff. I mean, how many people have faked being insiders to mess with YouTubers? None of these people do enough due diligence because they realize, hey, it's just an insider. This is just rumor. I'm not claiming fact on it, and they get away with it because of that. So I don't believe insiders 90% of the time.
Yeah,
and knowledge of this coming from a source. But as fate would have it, it's not just a source. It's the best fucking source I have. It's the most plugged in source that I have.
Sure.
It's the Omega source, the Alpha source. It's the source that gave us all the info on Ahsoka Season 2. It's the source that gave me all the...
You mean the information that everybody had on Ahsoka? That everybody fucking knew? Because the Ahsoka information, that you couldn't take 2 steps in the sphere in pop culture without hearing about Ahsoka shit. That's like claiming, water's wet because I stepped in a puddle. You break.
Info on the finale of Ahsoka Season 1, which I wrote down on a piece of paper when we did the watch party for the finale, and then I proved to you after we saw the episode that the source knew exactly the big things that were going to happen, which was pretty crazy.
Again, we kind of all... I didn't need a source to predict what was going to fucking happen in that. I remember watching it. Everybody predicted what was going to happen. You didn't need a fucking source. Because everybody fucking knew how that shit was going to end up.
The source is like... If it were any other source on the planet, I would ignore it.
Jed, he's working overtime and this is sped up here. He's working overtime to say my source is so good.
He just wants to legitimize himself, and that'll make this video go big. This doesn't sound real. This doesn't sound legitimate.
Yeah.
I would ignore it. And this source, it's absolutely incredible, unbelievable, great source. Hit me up with a whole bunch of info. And I want to go over some of that information with you because what I want to put out there, at the very least, is that an incredibly plugged-in person that I
my God, get to it already. Jesus Christ.
This man is stalling hard, yo.
I mean, and imagine if we were watching this at normal speed. Imagine.
Is saying that a lot of the narrative over the last couple of years about Kathy, about the choices, about what's been going on in Star Wars is not exactly correct. Okay, are you with me so far? Are you with?
Okay, what's been the past couple of years? Skeleton Crew. That came out, dog shit. Mandalorian Season 3, dog shit. Andor, politically motivated, dog shit. The Acolyte, dog shit. The High Republic comics, books that fail, dog shit. That's the past couple of years. And last I checked, Kathleen Kennedy is in charge of Lucasfilm, which greenlights all this shit, along with Dave Filoni.
With me so far, have we done enough tickling? Are you ready? Have I done enough tickling? Are you ready?
What is he talking about?
He's talking about tickling balls.
He's trying to be clever. He's trying to be clever, and he's not.
About? God, I hate humanity.
Yeah.
Pretty basic one that I think will make a lot of sense for you, but one that is actually kind of interesting. Okay? Chat, do you guys like the Clone Wars?
No. No, I don't. I know Jed likes most of it, but I don't.
Are you fans
I need
of
to
the Clone Wars?
rewatch it. It's been way too long.
Do you ever like the Clone Wars? Have you ever been a fan of the Clone Wars?
You've already asked that 3 times.
Is this considered good YouTube? Am I doing something wrong?
This is a disaster, man.
How is this 2 times speed?
I don't know.
No, it's 1.5. It's 1.5.
I don't know what's going on.
Still.
Get to the point. What is it? What?
I don't know.
Things about the Clone Wars. Number one, Kathy wanted to keep it on when Disney bought them. So remember, Disney buys.
I love how he's calling her Kathy. It's so strange.
What is going on? Like, okay, look.
Yeah.
I am convinced that he is not on the spectrum. He's just retarded. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he literally is sitting on what only thing I can describe is a thumbtack in the scrotum. Okay. That's the only thing I can describe. This man is neurotic behavior. Just say what your source said and let's get on with our day. What is
He's trying to
this
stretch out his
problem?
runtime or some shit like that. I know this is a clip from a stream, but he's stretching it out for reasons unknown.
Disney buys Lucasfilm, and one of the first things they do is they kill Clone Wars. They let Dave do a sort of makeshift final season. Okay.
Well, hang on.
After a decade,
That's not what
that long,
happened.
but
No. Clone Wars, it had reached the end. It was bumping up to Revenge of the Sith. It kind of had to end.
Yeah. It ended.
You were there. You're at the end of what you could tell of that period of time in Star Wars.
He's talking about season 7, because season 7 was where they bumped up to Revenge of the Sith, and that came out a good 8 years after. A good 10 years. It was a ways after, but it was canceled before it was ready to be canceled. And he's wrong about this. They gave Dave Filoni Rebels as this consolation prize.
Yeah, that was
which was so bad.
Yeah.
And then eventually they went back to Clone Wars when they wanted to reintroduce Dave into the Mandoverse and all of that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot later. He's acting like that's what happened when they took over. That's not what happened.
Yeah. This is all wrong. And once again, Clone Wars should be canceled because it was at the end. You're right there at Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm. After season 7, it needed to be canceled.
Yeah.
It's not what it should have been. They didn't let Dave have his ending. Okay, so the first thing you got to realize is Kathy wanted to keep Clone Wars on and just let Dave keep doing his thing, and Bob Iger said no. The next interesting thing that the source told me was that Bob Iger did not want to bring Clone Wars back. Now, you're going to start to see a pattern emerge here, and
And you know what? That would have been fine because you just made Ahsoka even worse when you brought her back. Having her walk off and disappear kind of made you think, okay, yeah, then she gets caught up in the Jedi Purge.
Or it gave her, see, this is how you know this idiot knows nothing.
Yeah.
Or this could have been her out on why she wasn't hunted during Order 66 because she was no longer a Jedi. And she could just live her life out in peace. And there was a fine way for her to walk away and wait for it, Adam, and never be seen again.
But then Dave Filoni couldn't make her the center of all things Star Wars.
God in heaven. See, that's what I'm saying. These people are stupid.
All of this, none of this jives. None of this jives.
I'm going to say from Jump Street, the impression I got, and this is something my source directly told me, was that Bob Iger does not like George Lucas. Bob Iger does not like the prequels. Bob Iger does not like George Lucas. Now,
newsflash, a lot of people don't like the prequels.
Yeah.
I can believe that. That doesn't mean Kathleen Kennedy does.
And it doesn't mean she's carrying the banner. Force Awakens shows us she didn't like keeping the spirit of Star Wars alive. Okay?
Clearly.
I would love to know. Let's just stop right here. What do you guys think of that? Do you think yes or do you think no? You think that's crazy? Some of you are like, no shit.
What is he talking about?
I don't know. I had to sit with that for a little bit.
Sit with what?
What is he talking about? He's not saying anything.
It was clear that Bob Iger, as we said when we started, Bob Iger had no intention of doing. Bob Iger admitted it himself in his own fucking biography. I didn't go with George's ideas because they didn't work for what we had planned. This is news we already fucking knew that he wasn't on with whatever George was suggesting they go with. And if he hates the prequels, like I just said, newsflash, a lot of people hate the prequels.
You're looking at one.
Yeah.
I don't like the prequels either. They're not good movies. They're not.
This doesn't mean that he's not wrong for making the proper business decision to not greenlight shit that's going to lose them even more fucking money.
Yeah.
I had to sit with that for a little bit. But it does explain a lot, as we are going to get into.
Oh, please.
Yeah. Isn't this already kind of changing how you thought about this?
No.
We knew Bob Iger hated George Lucas Star Wars. This isn't changing anything.
He made it clear day one after they bought freaking Star Wars. When George was like, hey, I got all these scripts for these next movies, they were like, listen, sir, go down to your ranch and eat some ice cream. That is what happened. That's not news.
If this guy needed an insider to tell him this, then he hasn't been paying attention.
No.
Okay, so here's the next thing that's crazy. He didn't want to bring back Clone Wars because he didn't want anything to do with Anakin. He didn't want anything to do with the prequels, which Clone Wars is associated with, obviously.
Newsflash! Their opening statement when they bought Disney, we're getting rid of everything that came before and making our own stuff. This is not news.
Their first decision was to decanonize the EU.
Yeah, which means
that's like the first thing.
Which means decanonizing a lot of what Anakin Skywalker did in books and comics, in addition to Clone Wars. And they decanonized. Oh my God, this is what. It's just what this guy woke up and suddenly sees this stuff for the first time because a source told him. Shut up.
And he didn't want anything associated with George. So Bob Iger was saying no to Clone Wars the entire time. Kathleen Kennedy, my source told me Kathleen Kennedy had to fight tooth and nail to get that final season of Clone Wars to come back. Okay.
I like it how Jed he's not bringing up the fact that they did Rebels for.
Yeah, they did Rebels with the same people and god awful animation.
Worse
yeah,
animation.
Yeah, they didn't bring Clone Wars back not until they were able to convince Bob Iger of some shit when they realized they had nothing except nostalgia.
Yeah.
And Clone Wars brought in nostalgia. Because Clone Wars Season 7, that was 2020, I believe. It was after Disney Plus was launched, which was in 2019. So it was a long time later when the decline of Disney Star Wars was apparent and bold-faced truth at this point after the failure of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
That's the reason why. Not Kathleen finally winning.
Yeah.
And this is where it's going to start to like get like we're going to this Bob Iger dude really fucked up because now this shit's about to get out there.
So right away, this whole thing, it's Bob Iger is the reason Star Wars sucks, not Kathleen Kennedy. That is the argument we are being told here.
They're both
He hasn't said anything. He's saying nothing that one didn't know already. And he already knew he had beef with George. Everybody knew that. And yes, he didn't like Clone Wars. He made that clear. They didn't want to use the EU. He made that perfectly clear.
This failure is a team effort. There's everybody has a role to play in destroying Star Wars in favor of Disney Star Wars. Good Lord.
There, people are going to be like, what? So here's the next thing that's crazy. Dave, in that final season of Clone Wars, Dave wanted to do Son of Dathomir.
Kill me.
Oh, yeah. Let's let Dave Filoni butcher Dathomir some more. That's a good idea. Once again, wow, pretty smart. Don't let him butcher Dathomir more. That's actually
it's going to happen when Maul comes out, the new animated Maul TV show.
Yeah.
That's going to go back to Dathomir. You're going to love that.
Now, you get a little bit of that energy because obviously Maul is on the Mandalorian John, and they have the big battle at the end and all of that sort of stuff. But Dave wanted to do that Mother Talzin shit, that shit with Dooku and maybe Grievous, and the Dark Horse comic book run of Sons of Dathomir.
Wait, did he just say that Maul was in Mandalorian?
No, on Mandalore, the Battle of Mandalore.
Oh, at Mandalore. Okay.
He made it to end of the Siege of Mandalore.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that is
where
true.
Where Ahsoka magically beats him because she balanced better on a beam than he did.
Yeah,
that's how that fight went.
Not to mention they brought Ray Park back for that. And that boiled my piss. I love me some Ray Park. I had to sit there and make him do that crap. That sickens me. Golly.
Guess who shot that down? Wasn't Kathy. Kathy wanted. That's why they tanked the promotional stuff for Solo. So
that's not how that works.
We also have a problem here. Wasn't she the one that fucked up Solo's production by canceling it 90% through and starting over with Ron Howard?
Yeah, getting new directors 2 or 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah. And at the same time, maybe Bob Iger saw the numbers that nobody bought or even heard of that comic book series.
Nobody. Zero people bought that. I don't know what is this man talk? I'm very confused.
He's making shit up.
He's just saying words.
A failed comic book run adaptation TV show is the reason why Bob Iger failed to promote Solo properly?
If that's where he's going, I guess. I don't know. Let's see.
So Dave wanted to do Son of Dathomir. There was going to be 16 episodes of Clone Wars Return season. Bob Iger said, hell no, I never even wanted this. You got 12 episodes. Yeah. So that's,
in those 12 episodes, 8 of them were hot trash. What are we talking about right now?
The Ahsoka crap.
The Ahsoka crap, the introduction of the Bad Batch, all that stuff.
I forgot. They did it so that they could the soft pilot for Bad Batch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's Bad Batch and there's the lesbian sisters.
Yes,
backdoor
like
pilot.
8 episodes, that garbage.
And originally that was supposed to be a romance arc with Ahsoka and some dude, and they changed to lesbian sisters.
And so let's just take for what he said. He's like, oh, it should have been more episodes. They only got blah, 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 blah. The garbage that was spewed out there outside the last four episodes, at least were entertaining. Those first 8 episodes, I rather have had a colonoscopy, 100%. And put me out, stick the pole up my hole, and shoot the cold water. Okay, because that was a waste of my time. Everybody knew that was garbage filler, and that's what they got. That was what was cut down to. Because I'm pretty sure the Weatherman saw that crap, was like, listen, guys.
That's Dave Filoni unfiltered. Those episodes are Dave Filoni unfiltered.
Absolutely.
He is the top creative at Disney Lucasfilm. No one tells him what to do. He could do whatever he wants. That's what that was.
They're just trying to rewrite reality. They're still trying to push that Dave Filoni is the one good Star Wars person out there when he doesn't have a great track record. Rebels still exists, guys, and Rebels is not good. And yeah, if Bob Iger was making these things, then he was making the correct decisions.
Yeah.
But we know he's making terrible decisions through all of this. It's just bizarre, the rewriting of reality that's going on in this video. And Kathleen, just like you're saying in the chat, Kathy was responsible for Dial of Destiny too. Was that Bob Iger's fault too? Or Willow? Is everything at the foot of Bob Iger? Is he really paying attention to every small project?
He's final boss. He's final boss villain.
Guys, that's basically the very beginning. Okay, that's just the start. So let me
don't bring up when she was fucking up without Bob Iger. That's gonna ruin my narrative, guys. Stop.
Let me try to get into some of these other things. Let me just find this. Hang on now.
So professional.
Yeah, he didn't want to.
God.
Okay.
We're watching this whole video.
Help us.
Well, we don't need to. I think we've kind of established. We've gotten enough, I think, to establish.
He said nothing.
Yeah.
We've watched 11 minutes of this garbage. He has said nothing.
I'm going to jump ahead. I'm just going to jump ahead right here. Let's see what he's doing over here.
Movie, the Mangold movie, the Charmin Obed Chinoy movie. Those were the big movies. I don't think there was anything else announced at the time. Okay. And then like 3 or 4 months later, we get this random information about a Mando Grogu movie. Do you remember? And we were all like, what the fuck? Yeah, because Bob Iger came in and was like, we need a Star Wars in the theaters. And we're going to take your show and we're going to turn it into
Adam, turn this off. Turn this garbage off.
This is the narrative that he is spewing. That all those movies aren't happening, not because they can't get it. We've been following all those stories. All those movies can't be done. The narrative creative process for the Rey movie, they've lost multiple screenwriters and writers for that. They've walked away. The dude who did what's it called? That show. I'm giving great shit. Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders writer. He walked away from it because they couldn't.
Stephen Knight.
Yeah, Stephen. He walked away. Good writer. Walked away. James Mangold is doing other shit, and after Dial Up of Destiny, kind of shot his shot and fucked up. So I'm sorry, that whole list, that's bullshit. So of course you're gonna go to the easy layup of Dave Filoni, who already has his slop written and ready to go.
They don't want the controversy of Rian Johnson to be their relaunch into the theater with his trilogy, and he's happy making those god-awful Knives Out movies, so...
Yeah, I mean...
They don't have options besides Mandalorian and Grogu right now. That's the easy choice.
Well, they got Starfighter.
Yes.
Starfighter.
That's going to do great. You want Amy Adams' Force-sensitive kid?
Who?
Yeah. Amy Adams is going to be a Jedi after Rise of Skywalker with a Force-sensitive kid that Ryan Gosling has to babysit and get to Rey's new Jedi Order.
Does that sound like fun to anyone?
They're on a water planet at one point. We know that. They're shooting it right now. Point is, I would love to spend our time with what we have left, but we're almost at the end of the show. I think we've made our case. This is Dre, you said it perfect. This guy's rewriting history. He's changing it up. he has told us nothing. We skipped ahead a couple minutes. He's still making shit up. So essentially, this guy is now carrying the banner for a lot of people. Bob Iger is the reason Disney Star Wars sucks.
Nope.
And no, we're not saying he's not been involved.
He's a big part of the problem.
But
without question, he has his blame. But to absolve
this guy's absolving Kathleen Kennedy. He's absolving Dave. It sounds like he's absolving Dave Filoni.
He's putting all the blame on one man. This disaster is too big to be one person's fault.
Yeah,
this is a massive failure of one of the biggest franchises in human history.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and one person can't be responsible for all that.
That was a layup.
The people. Yeah,
it was a layup.
Yeah.
And if you can't get Star Wars to work, fire yourself. You don't deserve to be here. You know, look, let's rewind back to 2012. Okay, the moment I would have purchased, let's say I had gajillions of dollars, and I go to George and I say, all right, I'm buying it from you. First order of business, EU. We'll start from there and work our way forward.
Wow, it's a simple solution.
George gave them scripts. You've got the EU, and he's handed you scripts. Great, you made my life easier. Thank you.
Heavy lifting's done.
And production.
So it's like, George, give me all the numbers of all the authors you worked with for the EU, so I can stay in touch with them and see what they have thought of, what they're working on.
And pursue the Underworld TV show George was working on or whatever.
Yeah,
he was giving you product.
Only technology kept him from making it time. The costs were too high. Now it's peanuts compared to what it would have cost then, and the technology is there. So this is. Let's get rid of him. Let's get this.
It's rewriting reality. I don't know why.
It's delusion. This is why I said at the beginning of this. They are living in some delusional world of fantasy that Kathleen Kennedy needs an apology. She's the one that was really fighting for George's vision all along. No,
that's laughable.
It's laughable. She hated George Lucas. She hated Steven Spielberg. And if she did so much, if she was such a thorn in Bob Iger's side, why wasn't she fired?
Mm-hmm. Or if she was really the altruistic person trying to support George's and Steven's legacy, because both of their legacies were destroyed by what Disney's done to Lucasfilm.
Yes.
If she really were, why didn't she choose to leave? Yeah. If nothing else, if Bob Iger could have fired her, why didn't she choose to leave? If she's the saint that we're trying to be made to believe that she is, she should have left. You don't want your name associated to the desecration of some of your closest friends' works.
But they weren't.
You only stay if you agree with it.
Yeah, and she was on. All of them have been on board with every single thing that has destroyed Disney Star Wars. Every single thing, from the sequel trilogy, to Dave Filoni Mandoverse, to Andor, to the High Republic, to the barely non-existent video games for the past decade. They've all signed on. Book of Boba Fett, Skeleton Crew, these crappy fake animes they keep putting out, the Vision shit, the Tales series. It's all been, everybody's been okay with it. There's been no dissension in the ranks. This is, you know what this is? It's the Civil War all over again. Kathleen Kennedy has been fighting the Civil War against Bob Iger the whole time, and we just didn't know it. So we need to realize that she's not Darth KK. She's Master KK fighting for the light against the dark. No, she isn't.
And Adam, let's play devil's advocate for a hot Jew second. All right. Okay. Let's just say it's true.
Okay.
Let's just say that KK has been fighting the good fight. I can't say that. Let's just say that she is being hindered by the weatherman. Okay. When the weatherman was in charge, okay, the sequel trilogy happened under KK's watch. She was undisputedly, it's not even up for debate, undisputedly the mastermind behind the trilogy. That's not hyperbole. That's not what if. That is what happened. Then he disappeared. The world went crazy. Streaming services went absolutely berserk, and then the freaking stock started dropping it like it's hot. he comes back and says, hey, I gave you free reign to do whatever you want because Bobby Chapek is literally just here for window dressing. You have cost me billions. I am now going to start cutting your projects. By every measurable metric, if there was actually a struggle, Bob Iger's the good guy.
Trying to save money.
If what he's saying, even if it's true, Bob Iger is the hero of the story. So if you want to take what he's saying with a grain of salt, he's still not proving the right point. Pointing at Bob Iger as the bad guy is wrong. You have to point at KK as the villain. All the same.
Let us not forget, during this period of time, I've saved it for this moment because we haven't mentioned it, Kenobi. And Kenobi, and not just the horrible work that show was, but the attack on fans that went on during that period, the gaslighting with Moses Ingram, Ewan McGregor, all that shit. That's Disney's modus operandi on everything. Go after the people who disagree with you. How many times in the MCU and every other project from Pixar to Disney Lucasfilm did we see them do that? If Bob Iger wasn't there during that period of time? So you're telling me that Kathleen Kennedy is not responsible for giving the marching orders for everything Kenobi?
That would be 100% her fault. So that's what I'm saying. Everything this man is saying, he's the villain.
Yeah.
He'd be the bad guy. You're defending the villain. If it is to believe, now we're smarter than that. We know that Bobby had his dirty booger fingers and a whole bunch of stuff. We know that everybody played a part in the downfall of Star Wars. But if we wanted to play a stupid game with this individual, Bobby's the good guy.
Yeah.
So
for simply wanting to save money from a company, for his company that is literally bleeding from the theme parks to their movie studios. They're bleeding money in every orifice right now.
Every orifice is leaking. And then the idea that
top to bottom
that projects were pitched to him and he said no makes him the villain after, once again, using his logic, after watching the disaster that was the sequel trilogy. After watching the disaster of the sequel trilogy, then they come to him with sequel trilogy adjacent stuff, and he's like, "Well, that was garbage, so no, I'm not going to green light more trash because these stockholders are trying to do unspeakable things to my hole with a corn on the cob." Okay,
and as Jed said, let's retreat to nostalgia because it's all we got. All we got is nostalgia, and that barely kept the nose above water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you resort to nostalgia, you're admitting defeat. You're admitting that you have nothing else. You're not braving into the future.
Yeah. So Disney Star Wars this proves it's a dysfunctional mess. There are no heroes. They're all villains, and each and every one of them, from Bob Iger to Kathleen Kennedy to Dave Filoni to all their little mongoloid minions in there, they are all responsible for the destruction of the most profitable franchise in history until 2012. They are. And you know what? Mando Grogu, bring it on. Bring it on. It's going to burn it down faster. All right, we're done with that. Okay, show's over. Let's pimp our wares. Get the hell out of here. Jed.
Well, you can all find me on YouTube at Hollywood Scholar. Regular scheduled live streams with Saturday Night Drive-In. This week, we're going to be watching a Scottish film, just because I was in the mood for that, and a classic being remade. We are going to be watching Highlander. But also, this Saturday, we've got to talk about another franchise that is an untold disaster. Witcher Season 4 is unfortunately coming out this week, and we have to talk about it. The train's too far along. We can't stop talking about Witcher until they cancel it, unfortunately, and I'm dragging some people along with me. Adam will be there. Jeremy Wormy will be there, and Dr. Rachel Lindbergh will be there this Saturday for a Witcher Season 4 review stream on my channel. I don't know the time exactly. We're trying to work it out with Jeremy, but at some point on Saturday, maybe Sunday if it doesn't work out, we're going to be talking about that disaster with Liam Hemsworth as Geralt.
I'm gonna be playing video games while I'm watching it. I'm not gonna. I can't look directly into the sun. It'll blind me. Dre, you don't have to watch that garbage. What are you doing?
Oh no. I'm pretty sure I'll be.
Are you busy? You're welcome to come on.
Oh, I'm sure I'm welcome to. I'll be elbow deep in diapers. Praise the Lord. So, but yeah,
at least he can flush that shit.
Yeah, I can. Yes, I can. But it is great to be with everybody. Shouts to the chat. Everybody can find me on X Twitter at TheBrute00 and on YouTube, Brutal Playing Comics, and of course my gaming channel as well at The Brute Plays. We'll see if anything pops off. We'll definitely be dropping some videos if anything is going down. Also, check out all the other work that I'm doing, either comic wise or voice work wise, at bpcomics.io.
Okay, Dragon Lady.
Well, I won't be doing much simming this week. Not with The Sims 4 because I uninstalled it last night because I've had way too many bugs and glitches, and it's getting very insufferable for me to the point where I've had to uninstall it. And I was like, yeah, screw that. And I will have my very last Sims 4 video posted sometime next couple of weeks, so that'll be the last Sims 4 one. I will still be doing Sims 3 and Sims Medieval though, since they work absolutely fine.
Okay. As for me, tonight, as always, we've got Wormhole Watch over on Duke Devil, Bradley Burnett's channel, Duke Devil 95. We are almost done with Deep Space Nine Season 2. We'll have a guest this week, Left Eye Ego. He'll be joining us. And then tomorrow, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, be back here for the Daily Dive, the Double Ds, where this week I've got a chat, maybe watch us reviews. I have to watch both Paddington movies back to back. And do a chat.
Just the first two? You don't have to watch the third one?
Oh, Kratos only paid for the first two. That's all he did. I do what they tell me.
Paddington and Peru, I think, is the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen.
Are you into Paddington Bear?
No, I've never seen them. I know a few things about them. I've just seen the trailers and Peter Capaldi's
my mom loves Paddington Bear, so that's why I'm aware of it. So,
yeah, like I said the other day, Paddington did not make the bedtime reading list. I rejected it as a kid, so it did not go on.
I think you're not going to enjoy them. I don't think you're going to hate them, but I'm going
to be miserable. I'm going to be miserable. It's going to be bad. So you're going to get one of those chat maybe watches reviews where I probably talk a lot of shit. So it's going to be one of those. But I don't have to compare it to The Room this time. So that. Anyway, rest of the week, we're still playing some Final Fantasy Tactics Evilise Chronicles. I have gone full power gamer, and I'm not even done with chapter 3, and my entire mercenary army is level 60 or 70 or over. So I've been power leveling quite nicely. The game is probably not going to be posed much of a challenge going forward, but hey, that's how I do it. Rest of the week, we'll see what comes, and we'll just leave it at that. We'll see what happens. So thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. It is evening almost. We appreciate you. Hit those like buttons. Links are in the description below. And we'll see you guys next time. So until then, take it easy, everybody.